Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me over?
Pacho, this is Com Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower, Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. OHRAH! What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Pacho. We're back in the field op. We're making great moves. We're making, moving and shaking, as Brian Coburn would like to say. Hey, it's Baby Friday night's eve, but goddamn, it's almost the weekend. Hey, we got an amazing show for you, and just to, I guess, reminisce a little bit as I put it on the show description, but nonetheless, let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. Hey, this show is brought to you by the VA. The VA is an amazing organization. Yes, before everybody here starts making a barrage of comments on my on my Facebook website. Hey, look, the system is not perfect. However, it's gotten a lot better. As a matter of fact, this week I was just helping a veteran, a fellow Marine from back in the day. As a matter of fact, this guy and I we went to Bootcamp. We went to high school together. He joined 2 years before I did, but nonetheless, he never filed a claim. He never did, for whatever reasons. He's gone. However, we went on there, got some stuff going, and it was very easy. He even made a comment. I was like, wow, when I first, when I did this, when I tried to do this many years ago, it was somewhat complicated. Well, it's gotten a lot better. So he was able to do it. And I helped him with the claim. And then he's filling in the gaps as far as, the other things that he's claiming in the system. So at the end of the day, what am I saying, everybody, is that you got to do your due diligence and get a claim going. Okay. Especially under the PAC Act nowadays it's facilitating a lot of things that in the past you would have had to have show proof. So if you follow me in my other social media platforms like LinkedIn, as well as TikTok and everything else, I put out a lot of good content out there as well. The whole point of these social media platforms that I have established, everybody, is mainly to disseminate information down to the lowest level. You recall that from when you were in. So the whole point being is that I use TikTok as a means to share information, not so much to shake my booty and do crazy dances, which at some point I may entertain you like that. However, it's just getting information out and then educating you and empowering you. Okay, so check out the VA. Go on there and see and see what's up and get a claim going. If you need help with that, you're more than gladly to hit me up right here on the show, and we can get you going. Also, September is Insurance Awareness Month, Life Insurance Awareness Month. So when was the last time you checked out your policies? Do you think you have the right coverage? And again, this is not, even though I am an agent and I do work with these type of products, this is not a sales pitch whatsoever. However, you want to make sure that you're properly covered, and you want to make sure that you have the right product under you. As I pass on my other social media platforms, the only best type of protection that you should have is term insurance. And I can explain a whole lot more. So if you want to find out more, no pressure, no commitments, no BS, hit me up, and I'll be more than glad to explain the different products, and then so you can make a well-informed decision. So at the end of the day is follow me on you can follow me on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and all that stuff, where I put out a lot of more good information on there. So anyways, so I think that's all can't say anything enough about, hey, this show wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the amazing document that this great nation of ours has, which is the American Constitution, as well as this nation as a whole. So I had a very interesting conversation with a fellow viewer, and look, this great nation of ours is not perfect. No other nation is perfect. However, the freedoms that we get as American citizens by birthright, I am a naturalized citizen. However, at the end of the day, she knows who I'm talking to. At the end of the day, this nation is not perfect, but it is an amazing country, and I'm glad that we're all here together as Americans, regardless whether which way you say it, or the left or the right. It doesn't matter, because that's what this great nation of ours provides us, these great freedoms. So make sure you check out our again. I could talk about anything and everything to you folks, and it's okay. So if you like what you hear, again, not only like, subscribe, and follow, and share this information on all the other ones. Follow me on all my other social media platforms, and you can see some of the other amazing people that follow me on there that put out some really good content as well. As Americans, and we have a lot of good stuff. Okay, so well, I think that's all the pleasantries out of the way. So the other day I was talking with a fellow. I reconnected with a fellow warrant officer, fellow Motor T Bubba himself, and good dude. Shout out to my buddy CK up in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're just kind of BSing about back in the day, so on and so forth. When we did a lot of good stuff, and it kind of got me thinking about boot camp. And then I was talking to my buddy Ken, who's been on the show. Shout out to Mr. Ken Crenshaw in Dothan, Alabama, at Fort Rucker, and it just kind of got me reminiscing of boot camp and some amazing stories. And by the way, if you want to come on the show and share your story, you can hit me up. Hopefully, this as I'm figuring out this whole Facebook Live thing. Hopefully I can share the link with you, and you can share your story, your boot camp story. But anyways, before we joined boot camp, we thought that it was around when all these great movies had come out, like Heartbreak Ridge, A Few Good Men was the last one that we watched before going to boot camp. And then there's another one with I forgot the guy's name it was a TV show, Hunter. A lot of you who are younger than I am might not remember that. I think his name is Fred Castle. Holy cow! I can't believe I remember that dude's name. Anyways, he did another Marine movie, which is fantastic. Anyway, so this is kind of like the whole stuff that we were going through, and at the end of the day, we were watching. So we're already like indoctrinated. We're like, man, we're gonna go to boot camp, kick ass, take names. I think they even told Ken, I'm like, hey, remember, when we're gunnies or we're sergeant majors, and by the way, sergeants major, when we're sergeant majors, and we're smoking our stogies, looking at our kids like, man, look at what we did. I shit you not, we did have this conversation. Ken, I wish you were here so you can attest, so you can back me up on this story. And anyways, I think we I don't know how we got some small cigars, some Swisher Sweets. This would be right before we head out to basic. I think a few days before we had watched A Few Good Men, and we were sitting out right here in South Miami. We're sitting out on in front of my house. I used to have like this little wall outside my door, and it was like early in the morning. I think we had just gone to a party, and we came back like at wee hours in the morning, and we were smoking these so-called cigars, Swisher Sweets, by the way, which are disgusting. And we're just like, man, I can't wait, and we're gonna be, sergeant majors of the Marine Corps and blah blah blah, whatever the case may be. I got my service dog right over here with me, kind of sitting on my feet as I'm telling you these stories. Anyways, it was just kind of cool looking back and sharing all these good stories, and it got me thinking about, as I ran through my memory bank, about just when we got to basic, basic, first of all, the day before I shipped out, or the morning of, I had sat on, I had gone to my mom in her bedroom, and she was, I remember that she was laying in her bed. It was like, I think like 5 in the morning was when Gunny Vitelli, or one of his people, were going to come pick me up from the recruiting office. And I sat there hoping and praying that my mom, what a mom does, kind of just is say how to PFC taps everybody. Hoping and praying. So, I was scared. I'm not going to lie. I was scared. And, because it's the unknown. So I was kind of hoping and praying that my mom would say, no, mijo, don't go. You can stay. But my mom, in good old Nelly fashion, she just kind of said, hey, you're going to be fine. It's okay. And she kind of with her foot pushed me off, because I was laying, and she was laying down barely, she was half awake, half asleep. And I heard the car outside, and she kind of like pushed me off, and she stood up and gave me a hug, and pretty much, so here I am, so then we're going. Ken was in the car too, I think. I don't remember, but anyways, we go to boot camp, and I mean, we're in this whole, in this screaming thing, get out of the bus. First, we landed in, I think it's in South Carolina, in this, airport in the middle of nowhere. This, I think it was a Lance Corporal, E3, for you non-Marine types. This with an attitude, and he is just, screaming at us, and we're all like, sir, yes, sir, because he wasn't a drill instructor or anything. He was just a Lance Corporal with a chip on his shoulder, but he was kind of our handler. So we get on the bus, and man, it was just crazy as shit. It was just the massive confusion that was there. It was crazy to say the least. So, obviously, like you see in the in the movies, anyways, this guy with the smoky hat, the typical drill instructor, drill sergeant for you non-military types. In the Marines, the drill instructor would call them DIs, drill sergeants in the Army. But anyways, it's all just a huge mass confusion is what it is. So obviously, at the end of the day, hang on, let me wait for this dude to sit down. But I mean, we're just, on behalf of the President of the United States and blah, 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 the guy with what we call a frog voice. And they just get out of my bus. And I remember as I was getting out, the dude in front of me, he got out of the bus, and because you're supposed to get out of the bus, and there's some yellow footprints on the floor, whether it's Paris Island or San Diego. But the dude in front of me, when he made that turn, he slipped and fell. And I remember the natural reaction for me, those of you that know me, as I'm giggling right now, I pretty much I just did that, and I try to shake it up, but it was the worst shit that I could do, because all that did, I just became like a honeycomb to bees. And I remember I just had like drill, so I was like, nah, 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 and I was just like, I didn't know what to say, but I was trying to shake off, but I had this smirk on my face, like trying not to laugh at this dude that just pretty much ate cement as he was getting out of the bus. So that was my whole introduction. And we got to like in the middle of the night. I mean, I think on purpose, these dudes, the drivers or whatever, they're told, hey, drive around and confuse the living crap out of these dudes, so that way we can, so they don't know where they're going. But I recall back after I graduated, driving out of Paris Island. I mean, that place is in the middle of nowhere, people. I mean, it is in the armpit of the world. I mean, it is swampy. It is, because again, you only get to see it is when you're leaving, and during the day. And it was in the middle of nowhere. So I'm like, so maybe they didn't drive around, but to confuse us. Anyways, and just one of many things. I mean, it's a massive. It's what would I describe it as chaos times 10 on steroids, if you know what I mean. There's just mass confusion. Clearly, I mean, they're there to just confuse the living crap out of you. and stress you out. Obviously, you know, while we're going through it, we don't understand it. I mean, years later is when it all makes sense. Well, you know, obviously stressors are trying to, because at the end of the day, anything and everything that we do is obviously in a very stressful environment. We just wanna be able to act and react in stressful situations. I've been now as I look back, there's been, and I've been placed in even as a civilian in certain stressful situations, but shockingly enough, I'm able to I've remained like kind of cool, calm, collected, which is another person would have been panicking like you wouldn't believe. What's up, Larry? Hey, welcome to the show. Hey, you were able to actually watch me live today, so that's cool. And shout out to Angel and PJ. I know she's watching too. She's putting some really funny comments on the show. But you know, it's just massive confusion. But it's in order for us to be able to be able to remain calm when stuff hits the fan. I mean, that's what it's all about. So yeah, it just massive chaos is what I remember. I remember this. So when you get issued your uniforms, especially your camouflage, or BDUs, as my fellow Army types are that listen to the show. So you're in this one room, and you're standing against, your back against the wall or bulkhead, if we're using naval terminology. So they're saying, hey, and I think we were on our what do you call it, whitey tighties or boxer shorts, because they're issuing this stuff out and we got to put it on. And so there's this landscaper from supply basically walking through these tables, just walking up and down, just screaming, hey, you're gonna pick up this, and depending on, and go ahead and try it on. And I could barely recall if we were trying it on or anything, but I remember you're gonna put this, this green skivvy shirt, green skivvy shirt, and blah blah blah, and whatever the case may be. And he's just barking, and we're just putting this shit on. But I clearly remember this, and he was from Florida too, from Miami, from the Miami MEPS, because there was about 8 or 10 of us that from Miami that ended up in not in the same. 3 of us, I think, ended up in the same platoon, and the others kind of got sprinkled out in the other. Anyways, the one dude, God, I wish I remember his name, but I remember, because this is right after we got our heads shaved. So he's sitting right across from me, and let me tell you, you never knew how ugly some people's heads are. Is when you're looking at this dude or these other dudes. We're all we all look like basically like walking. We look like walking testicles. I mean, shaved testicles. But this one dude across from me, I mean, this dude looked like a xenomorph, like one of the aliens, long head and shit. I mean, his head was kind of elongated like that, and he had divots in the center, and he had like a lump right here on his forehead. I mean, and it was just a weird head, and me already having to giggle my ass off, before we came in. This dude is the one right in front of me, and I'm begging God. I'm like, please, Lord Jesus, just if raised Catholic though, but I'm like, please, Lord Jesus, if you do exist, please swallow this dude into the ground, so I don't have to look at this weirdly head-shaped mother effer that's standing right before me. And but the dude, and at that point when you and somebody else's eyes just like lock with each other, and then you just wanna like burst out laughing. I mean, that shit happened. And I mean, we locked eyes, and there's this like, we had like this entire, for that 1 minute or so, it's like we had he's moving the camera. It's like this dude and I, we had like this entire conversation in that 1 little minute, I'm gonna go ahead and fix the camera. It's like we had this entire conversation in this 1 minute. I know we were both saying to each other, "Bro, please don't laugh." You know what I'm saying? And we're looking at each other, and I'm already like, and I'm already sweating. I'm like, I'm holding it in, and he's holding it in. I can see that he looks away. I look away. Our eyes lock in again, and it's just building up. And thank God, everybody get out. I've never been so glad to hear a scream from a drill instructor, ever in my life, especially at that moment, because had I lost it right there, forget it. I mean, I would have been branded that one recruit that they just hazed and amazed the whole 3 months that we were, in boot camp. So I mean, that was just one of the moments that I recall. That was pretty funny and pretty intense. I remember another time. This is like we. And again, I don't know how it is. I wish, man, sometimes I wish I had like this, how the other armed forces do their boot camp. But yeah, you were Private Smiley. I can see that. But I remember, so I had this one dude, his name was Vaughn, private or recruit Vaughn. Anyway, so Paris Island Squad Base, it's like they're like these three or four floor buildings, and it was our platoon was 3105, and I had these. It was just nothing, but it's just a bare shell of a building. There's nothing, no partitions, no nothing. It's only towards the back where on one side you have the bathrooms or heads, as again using naval terminology. And on the other side is the huts or the room. Just think of it as just a small little room where the DIs, whoever the on-duty DI is, that's where they slept. That's where their quarters are. And then towards the back, it was just some storage and some, whatever. But it's just a bare shell of a building. Anyways, but it did have these pillars in between, about, I don't know, maybe 2x2 type of pillars. Obviously, that it's part of the whole holding up the building. Anyways, so our racks, our bunk beds were stacked line by line. So think of like, I don't know, 60, 70 bunk beds, and then all these dudes. So we would run it online when it was going to get online, and we would get online, and obviously some of these pillars, if you were lucky enough, you had a pillar in between. And I forgot how many pillars there were in that building, but I remember Vaughn basically was not in front of me, but he was to my right there in a right angle. And this dude, he would lean on purpose sometimes. He was like, "Recruits, get online." And I'm like, "Aye, sir." And we would both, everybody line up, side by. And Ken, who's been on again, Ken, my boy Ken, he was right next to me too. Anyway, but Vaughn was in the corner, and this dude would lean against that pillar, and he, his whole job was, I mean, the dude was a comedian, but this dude would make us laugh. I mean, to the point where he'll be leaning like, he would just make faces to us like, "Aye, sir," and he would just, dumb shit that, that kids do back then. Just things like that. Sometimes, sometimes, they would do body inspections. They had the company commander and a corpsman, a medic for you Army types. Yeah, no, trust me, this dude. And so if the drill instructor, even if the drill instructor would be walking, they wouldn't see him. The dude became a ghost. I mean, this guy was amazing. I think I only saw him get hazed once, or not hazed, but thrashed, as we called it. Even if the drill instructor would back, they wouldn't see him, and the dude would keep leaning. I mean, the balls on this guy, he was still leaning against that pillar, and we're just like, it would be even worse. So you were trying not to laugh. So when they would do these body inspections, we will be wearing these little green skivvy towels. So some of you might have gotten to issue those. These towels were just the crappy. Hey folks, let me tell you something. When you hear the word from a salesperson or whatever, an ad, when it says military grade, that is the shittiest thing you can ever purchase, a product. So again, these towels were, were very small. So we would be basically not, I mean, I guess you could say, yeah, no, we were naked, but we would cover ourselves with these towels because the corpsman, the medic, and the company commander and one of the drill instructors would be walking, and you had to open up, and they would check you out from head to toe to see if you had any injuries, any bruises, anything of the sort. And at that time, if there was something there of the sort that needed to be looked at further by a doctor, then you would get the next day you would go to medical, right? Anyways, again, Vaughn sitting right there. I mean, this dude would be with his towel. I mean, the towel was very small as it is, but this dude would be like, like flashing his towel at you. And again, I mean, this is a drill instructor, and we're right, and my face would be like I would be like this, like, and then hey, they call me Alphabet because my name is Correa Hernandez, but the military with Hispanics names are not the best, and me obviously being Hispanic, I had my father's last name Correa and Hernandez, but the Marine Corps just put it all together, no dashes, no none. Yeah, so they knew me as Recruit Alphabet, Recruit Many Names, whatever. So here they come, and Vaughn will be on the back, with this towel doing some, and like recruit, so I had to spin around. This recruit has no medical issues to report at this time, and then I'll just end up looking at Vaughn, and I'm here like holding it in, and I had drill instructor apart, and this dude was just sadistic already. He was from Massachusetts. I can't believe I remember all this crap. But anyways, this dude was known to be sadistic already enough as it is. And this guy was like, if you he whispers, he leans to my ear, and he's hitting me right here with his smoky, with his drill instructor hand, and I just hear, if you so called, he's whispering, if you laugh, I will, God as my witness, I will thrash you until next Tuesday. And I mean, that right there cured the whole one. It's like, I was like, aye, sir. So I just finished. And anyways, that was bullshit, because later on, after it was all done, I mean, there was hell to pay. And, at the quarterdeck, which is right in front of all these bunk, there's another huge space where we just sit down and have classes. I mean, this dude just leaned into me, and I think I pushed until I couldn't push anymore. I mean, it was just crazy. But as they say in Paris Island, 3rd Battalion, which that's what we were. We're not the smartest, but we're the strongest. So I mean, I think I came out of there pretty freaking strong and swole from. Let's just and me, and if you had a position like you were a guide, first squad leader, second, whatever. I mean, you even though it was a leadership position, I mean, it was just you used to pay for the rest of your squad. So I think I was fourth. Yeah, I was 4th squad leader, and man, it was crazy. But just some of the great things that I remember. Let me see if this poll thing launches. I'll go ahead and there you go. I just launched this poll. So hey, I'm just curious to know if you had the opportunity to go back and do boot camp all over again, would you do it? Some of you are, well, I'm not, again, young as you are, but I guess with what you knew now, what you know now that you didn't then. I mean, at the end of the day, would you do it all over again? I think I would. No, I'm pretty sure I would. Yeah, I would. I would. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade it for the world, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of us can say that. With the injuries and whatever else that and the demons that a lot of us battle, I think it made us who we are today. And as a whole, maybe I would have maybe changed my career as a whole, made some different choices, I guess, that some regrets that I do have personal wise. But at the end of the day, I think it's a great thing that it gave gave me an opportunity to not only, a kid, as I addressed my Marines back in the day when I was getting ready to retire on formation, say, hey, who would have thought that a kid that was born and raised in a farm in Colombia would be standing before you as an officer, being able to tell his story and saying to you that you too can do this. So, think about that for a second. So those of you that serve, thanks so much for your service. Thanks for raising your right hand and writing that blank check to this great nation of ours. So, and thanks for your service to this amazing nation. So, with that being said, before I go, hey, look, if you've been ruminating and just doing other think going down into that dark hole, before you do that and you kind of start thinking about suicide and some other dumb shit that you really shouldn't be, hit me up on the show. Hit up one of our fellow listeners. I'm sure anybody, or just go check out Military One Source TRICARE's Veterans Suicide Hotline. But at the end of the day, nobody wants you to be a statistic. Nobody wants to be saying some nice words about you, at your funeral, because you're probably an asshole anyway. So, but that's okay. We still love you and we want you to be here. So with that being said, everybody, I think we're going to go ahead and end this right here. So, Ice Tomas, Dice the Key. We'll see you next week. And keep rocking. Yes, get some.